Hello and welcome to episode 87 of the Movie Bros podcast. We are your hosts, as always, Duncan and Hayden. Hello, hello. If you are new, this is a weekly podcast of two brothers who pick a movie, watch that movie, discuss, ramble, banter, argue, dissect, debate, whatever you want about said movie. And we cover every genre you can think of, every era you can think of, but we're always open to suggestions. Is a Spotify if you're listening to it through there. There's YouTube if you're listening or watching it through there, even though there really is no graphics. It's just going to be the poster. And there's also Instagram. So if you want to reach out in any kind of way to let us know, if this is working, if it's not working, if we should be watching something else, if we're watching the right things, whatever it may be. Yeah, those are all the pluggy things we usually do at the beginning. Hayden, what are we watching and talking about this week?
So this week we are talking about The Green Knight from 2021. This is written and directed by David Lowery, based upon just many different versions of Arthurian legend featuring Sir Gawain. This is not the only movie about this. Obviously, there are probably in the hundreds of the adaptations of this story. This is just one version of it. You might know David Lowery from things like The Old Man and the Gun, Pete's Dragon, A Ghost Story, and Skeleton Crew. This stars Dev Patel, Alicia Vikander, Sarita Chowdhury, Sean Harris, Katie Dickey, Barry Keoghan, Aaron Kellerman, and Joe Edgerton. Music here is by Daniel Hart, and kind of in the same vein as a Wes Anderson, David Lowery tends to work with many of the same people over and over again, so he's done a whole lot of the same movies that I just mentioned with a couple other things thrown in. The cinematographer here, again, kind of the same situation, also known for things like A Ghost Story. However, there's some other things in there as well. Oh my god, I forgot his name. Cinematography here is by Andrew Draws Palermo. He also works with David Lowery often, but has a plethora of other things. He also did the cinematography for something else that we've watched, Duncan. I don't think we did an episode on it, but I know we've talked about it. What do you believe that it was? It is a completely different tone to this. Let's put it that way.
Is there any other hints that I can get?
It's an ensemble cast.
Hayden, most movies are ensemble casts.
They're in tights.
Well, it's either going to be like Star Trek or it's going to be...
So he did the cinematography for Thunderbolts.
Oh, okay.
Which...
This is so much better.
Well,
there's some visuals in Thunderbolts that are nice.
It absolutely
but
is. Thunderbolts does not have the chance to slow down and make artsy choices, unfortunately.
Not often
for such a slow
no.
movie.
Yes.
And that's kind of all the information I have here.
Okay, well, let's start with ratings. And we should, some context, I have seen this before, Hayden has not. Right?
Well, I've seen it now.
Yeah, but I mean, like, this was your first time seeing it. I've seen this before.
Yeah. Okay. It is also worth mentioning that this came out in 2021, right as the pandemic was going into a full effect. So it kind of died on arrival, unfortunately, which is probably why I didn't see it.
Yes. I gave this a very solid 4 to 4.5. I really like this. And obviously we'll talk about that more in the general discussion, but yeah, very solid 4 to 4.5.
Well, I gave this a 5 out of 5. I absolutely love this. So much better than I had heard.
There's watching, I was like, oh, this is very clearly, I think, up both mine and especially your alley. And I was talking to the parents, and I didn't realize our parents had seen this, and they were not a fan. And I was like, oh, that makes sense.
It does, especially since they would have grown up seeing the other versions, the ones of Sean Connery and all those other ones. Like, this is very much the art house version of an Arthurian legend. And
very A24 art house. Yes.
Yes. So it 100% makes sense that they didn't like it. I know Morgan also saw it and that he loved it too. So maybe it's a generational thing.
Yeah, it might be. Just off the top, you referenced the cinematographer who also did Thunderbolts. I mean,
Oh,
I
it's
think,
gorgeous.
well,
Holy shit.
yes, it's gorgeous, but the main thing I think this movie really does well is all the technical side. Like, the lighting is awesome, the cinematography is great, the costuming, like everything that's not the actual story itself. I mean, the story itself is something else we can talk about, but just everything that you're looking at looks fantastic. The color grading looks fantastic.
I mean, it does look fantastic, but I really appreciate how they chose to tell this story. This isn't like a dialogue free movie. There are some very important pieces of monologue in this,
Mhm.
but so much of this is left up to you know it's left up for the viewer to piece together and to determine and to figure out, okay, what are the visuals telling me? What is the emotion that they're trying to get across? What is the storytelling device that I'm supposed to glean from a still shot?
And that's one of the only places where I'm actually ticked down off of it. There's one scene. Can you guess where I'm like, what the fuck was that?
I can does it have to do with a certain embroidered green tie thing?
Well, actually, no. That scene, I actually don't have a. It's a whole thing, but I'm actually okay with it. No, I'm
It is a
talking
whole
about when
thing,
he
yes.
is kind of on like a mushroom trip and he sees the giants.
Um, I
What the
I
fuck was that? Oh, and then they cut
I
to it,
mean,
like the next
you're
scene.
right, but
No
also
addressing it.
I also don't care. It's cool.
No, again, that's what I'm like. Yes, it's cool, but strictly speaking, story wise, I'm like that's really the only fault that I can really find. Where like, what was what?
I kind of don't see that as a fault, and I think it goes back to so lots of the character arc of Gawain here is
Okay.
going
Well,
out
first of
on
all,
an
how the
epic
fuck are you
quest.
saying? Oh, say that name again.
So I'm saying it how I always heard it in my head whenever I read that in text. They are pronouncing it differently in this because they are actually closer to the Middle English that would have been used at the time.
Yeah, Gaywind, which I'm like, I would. That just makes more sense. Gawin
I'm going to
doesn't.
keep saying
Okay.
Gawain just because that's what I'm used to, but yes, main character Dev Patel. A lot of his story arc is him trying to rationalize and reason with himself about why he went on this quest, why he wants to be a knight, why he wants to find honor and these and that sort of thing. And I think that
Well, you realize he doesn't really know if he even wants to be one.
well, exactly,
Well, the whole time he's
exactly,
like, "Oh, I'm not a
and
knight. I'm not a knight," and then he does multiple like characteristics where people are literally like, "Oh, a knight wouldn't do that. You are not a knight."
exactly. And I think that that part of the way I'm choosing to understand the giant scene and some of the other stuff as
Mm-hmm.
well is that we are seeing him tell us that story. So if he's trying to make up fantastical, interesting things that happened
Sure, if this is a tale,
to possibly tell Alicia Vikander when he thinks that he's going to get back and talk to her again, I think that he's either consciously or not inventing some of this movie for himself.
can we both agree though that all of this, for the most part, is like, oh, if your mom wasn't this witchy bitch, none of this would have happened.
Girl,
Like he was just totally fine, like just laying around drinking and having sex all day at the
yes,
castle, and then she's like, "You got to
yes.
do some shit." The knight is so cool. The green,
Oh,
like
I love
I
that
love
practical effect so well.
the
It's so
movement and the
cool.
sound that they chose to do whenever he moved his limbs, where it sounds like branches and things moving. So
Yes.
cool, absolutely awesome.
Well, it's like whenever he talks, there's like a little bit of like wind rustling through branches and stuff too. It's very
Hmm.
very cool.
It's interesting. The king is like, okay, do you understand the challenge, the game? And like, all you have to do is nick him, and he's gonna nick you back in like a year. And
Right?
Gawain's like, oh, I totally understand. I think, and then he chops his head. I was like, dude, what the fuck you doing?
Well,
And you
it's
immediately just
it's
signed your own death wish.
Gawain is tricked both by his own wanting to fit in and show the rest of the knights that he deserves to
Sure,
be
it's
there
pride.
because previous to that he's talking to King Arthur which is like one of the big important discussions of the movie is that, oh, I don't have all these legends and honors, and I
Mm-hmm.
don't know if I belong here. So him saying, oh, this is a freaky ass tree dude, I'm gonna behead him in front of everyone else so everyone knows I belong.
Sure.
I think that totally fits in with his character.
Or
But
at least
also,
the beginning of his
Green
character,
Knight
yes.
literally bends over and shows him his neck. Like
Mm-hmm.
he's absolutely trying to trick him into doing that, knowing that he won't die.
I like that they use the marionette little scene a few times
Yep, showing the passage of
for
time.
time passage.
Well, I also like that Dev Patel, Sir Gawain or Gawan or whatever it may be. He knows that his time's coming up because it starts to snow. I mean, yes, we see that
Yes,
because of the marionette thing spinning, but there's that really beautifully lit scene where
yes,
he's like
I know what
fighting
you're
out
talking
in the
about. Yes.
streets,
Mm-hmm.
and he looks up. Oh, gorgeous stuff.
Even like when he's first leaving the castle, just on his horse, the kids are trying to chase behind him, and you see the castle behind. Obviously, that's part of that is not real, but just him with that, like, you wouldn't think like a yellow, like a mustardy yellow sash would look good, but I'm like, oh, dude, this looks like it just the right. Again, I don't know if it's the grading or just they picked the right colors for the right guy.
I mean, I think
Uh,
probably both.
Probably. I do think Barry Keoghan, this is the character that he is meant to be. Like this
Oh,
kind of
just a
character.
disgusting little weasel you want to kick his teeth in? Yes.
Yes. And like that's why I'm unsure of how he's gonna be as Ringo for the Beatles biopic. I'm like, I mean,
I mean, I am unsure of that whole thing just in general.
yeah.
Um, I actually Tubi won't like it, but I actually screenshotted several different bits from like, oh, this
You watched this on
cinematography.
Tubi?
Yeah,
Oh.
I don't know.
Actually,
I
now that I
find
think
that
about it, I think that's how I watched it. No, it's on Netflix without ads.
it's on Tubi without ads. The way
Oh,
Tubi works on my desktop, for whatever reason, the ads don't play.
well, lucky you, because mine definitely play when I watch Tubi.
When I try it on my laptop or I try it on like my Xbox, it absolutely plays ads. When I
Hmm,
put it on my desktop, they don't turn on for some reason.
weird.
Yeah. So I've been doing that, and I think it's a lot easier for me. Regardless, I took like 3 or 4 screenshots. I'm like, wow, this is the way that that Gawain is framed within his landscape.
Oh,
Like,
there's so many shots like that. Oh my
oh,
god.
you could put these in museums. I
Hmm.
will probably make one of them the background of my desktop. They're just
They're
gorgeous.
super sick. Yeah.
I will probably end up sharing them on our Instagram, which is the movie _ bros. You should check us out.
I like that they broke it into kind of chapters of a tale.
Kind of.
And did you recognize what's the headless ghost chick?
Saint Winifred.
Yes, Winifred. Did you
Yes,
recognize
she
the actress?
was the young rebel leader in Solo.
Correct. Anywhere else?
Probably, but that's what springs to mind.
I mean, that would be the first one. She was also, I think, she was the main sort of bad guy, but of course, the bad guys are never
Oh,
truly bad
in
in
Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Falcon and Winter Soldier. Correct.
Man, that show was ass.
I wonder if again, it was
It
so
well, okay.
long ago at this point.
It wasn't ass. It was just like it took so much potential and then did nothing with it.
Mm-hmm. What are your thoughts on who is the fox? I think the fox is his mom, but I'm not sure.
I think the fox is his sense of decency, which is why, or like
What?
it's his sense of like self preservation.
Okay, decency and preservation are very different.
Well, that's why I'm reframing it. It's
Okay.
his sense of like self-preservation, which is why, it's constantly egging him on when he's super tired and it's raining and he's wanting to give up and sleep in the middle of the field, and it's like, no, we got to keep going. And that's why he has to chase it off when he's like, no, I need to go meet the Green Knight. I need to do this. I need to fulfill my quest. He's like, no, there's no shame in running away and hiding, you know, yada yada yada. Obviously, it doesn't play out that way, but I think I think the fox could be many things, but that's what I think it is to me.
Regardless of what you think it is, I the I'm sure I think I even shared a couple on our Instagram story, but there's a bits where like he's walking up hills or mountains or whatever with the axe over his shoulder and the fox in pursuit. I'm like, dude, that's just cool looking.
Oh
Like,
yeah,
come
oh
on.
yeah.
Everyone loves a human and an animal like tag team
Yes.
duo thing.
I'll do you a better question though. Who do you believe the Lord and the Lady are?
The Lord and Lady being Joel Edgerton and not Ex Machina Girl, Ex Machina Girl.
Yes.
I
Because I have a theory, but I want to hear yours.
I don't know.
I should
I
say
mean,
I should probably read the original.
yes, I'm sure that would help. I think just this discussion aside, I think Joel Edgerton is great at just being not
Oh,
so weird
he's
and
such a good
off.
like manly bro, I guess.
Yes, but like he's in this, I think he's great at like something's like a little off, but it's not enough to where like he can say something. Like he's I don't know. There's that as soon as I started watching this the first time, I remember I was like, this is weird. This
Yeah,
seems sus.
there's something weird going on here.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that he doesn't know the confines of his own house
Yes.
and yeah, super strange stuff.
The light reflection, like the portrait that they make, though, very again, all this like the
That is
technical
a real
side
thing though.
is so cool.
I don't remember the exact way of how to do it, but that is something that
Yes,
people
it is.
in uh, medieval times used to do. That is very cool.
So your thoughts on who they are?
I don't believe that they are real. I
You
think
don't
that
think they're
they
real?
are no. So remember the old woman who's never talked about? She's wearing the blind thing over her face in the exact same way that his mother is doing, the
Mm-hmm.
witch, when she like sees through the King Arthur's eyes when he's first talking to him, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think that that was almost like a test or maybe even a trap to try to get him to stay there, and it's giving him the two things that she thinks he wants the most. And
Sure. Well, that makes actually
it's
that's not a bad idea. I
a
like that.
legitimized love that he could have
Sure.
with
Yes. Ex
Alicia
Machina.
Vikander because the real Alicia Vikander, her character back in the King Arthur area, is a prostitute, and which means that he wouldn't be able to marry her.
Mm-hmm.
That's why she has all the bells and why her hair is that short. It was supposed to be a sign of humiliation. So when he sees her in this, or he thinks that he sees her in this, she's got all these like fancy gowns on. Her hair is super long and done up, like she looks like a noblewoman. And then I think he also really wants like close companionship with other men in ways that he doesn't really have. You know, he doesn't feel like he belongs in King Arthur's court, and so in Joel Edgerton's, character, as it were, that's what he's supposed to, represent. He's the easy friend that automatically accepts him, invites him into his home. Hey, I'm going to go out and hunting. I'm going to give you a whole elk. All this, that, and the other. I think I don't believe those two characters to be real people. I think they're manifestation of the older witch lady.
Did you think of that up your own? Because damn, Hayden,
Yes,
that's the okay. Yeah, that's
because I was, for the
that's
life of
very
me,
good.
trying not to write that scene off, being like, what the fuck is going on?
Because I
So I had
wrote
to sit there and think,
I
okay,
wrote
what's the
jerk off
possible
scene
explanation?
is there, yeah, and just let's keep going.
I did feel that may have been a little bit too far, and that there probably could have been other ways for him to show that he wasn't like a knight material. But
Yeah.
it also shows that the reason why he's so freaked out that happens, uh, I don't know that he's freaked out that he comes like that, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, mature rage rating on the episode. Um, I think he's surprised at the Alicia Vikander character, like being like, "Oh, well, why'd you do that?" Because he only knows her as the prostitute character. The version of her that he knows would have been totally fine with that, which is why he thinks, okay, there's something definitely weird going on, which is why he runs out of the house.
I didn't happen to look. I should have just Googled this before we started recording. Where was this filmed?
I had the thought too, and I didn't look.
Where was Green Knight filmed?
Does it say where it was filmed?
was filmed entirely on location in Ireland between March and May of 2019, utilizing the country's lush, rugged landscapes.
That makes. I was
Included
going to assume Wales.
Cahir Castle, Charville Castle, and various spots in County Wicklow. Okay.
So speaking of Ireland, something that I also noticed is that the fake Alicia Vikander also has a different accent.
Mm-hmm.
Like
I did
she has
notice
like
that.
a hoity-toity like British noblewoman accent when she's, you know, prancing around in the fancy clothes, but real Alicia Vikander almost has like a Welsh Celtic accent, which wouldn't have been seen as the same social class.
Something that I think is, I think we've talked about. I mean, we've talked about this many times before with lots of different movies, um, especially ones that are more on the artistic side, is when they lean into not inherently harsher colors, but more clear. Like, oh, this is like for example, Ad Astra had very clear like, oh, in this scene, like this is the color palette.
Yeah,
This like when he actually arrives at the chapel, where it's that like mustardy green
it's
yellow.
so gorgeous. I paused that
Hmm.
so many different times. I'm like,
Well, there's many
That's
spots throughout the movie that does it.
incredible."
Yes, I mean, but again, there's tons of different, and that's just an example. There are tons of different options in that movie where I don't know what it is that scratches that itch for me, but I'm like, dude, this is sick.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Well, the bit where he just like pauses there in the arched doorway with the axe, hanging low by his knees. Just the framing of the yellow sun behind him is just so beautiful.
Hmm. I was curious because like, well, Deb Patel is, I mean, around this time he was actually like kind of an it guy. He did this
Yeah,
and Monkey Man.
I never saw Monkey Man. I know you did. Was it good?
It's, I think, especially so. It was his first like directorial debut, his first time being like the main lead. Like his, it was his movie. Um, I
Sure.
thought it was good. I think it was. I think it could have been. I don't. I don't really know what I'd. I think I think it accomplished exactly what it was trying to be, which was kind of a Indian John Wick sort of.
It did kind of look that way. Yeah.
But either way, like these two came out relatively near each other, and I'm looking at his IMDb, and he did a couple things for Wes Anderson, those shorts, The
Yep.
Wonderful Story of Henry Sugar. But looking like he doesn't have a ton on the horizon, which is surprising because I feel like,
I think he's a very good actor. Yeah.
yeah, I like him a lot. He's got a tennis player movie coming up. That
Really?
well, it says here. Let me read that. The Journeyman, a professional tennis player desperate to support his family, gets entangled in a match fixing syndicate, only to find himself ensnared in a dangerous web of corruption and violence in which he struggles to break free.
Does it have anyone else in it?
No.
Oh, it's
Uh,
it's too far out in production to have a cast on it.
his only upcoming things as an actor is that and The Peasant, which is a 14th century shepherd pursues revenge against mercenaries who ravaged his community. As he hunts them down, his true nature emerges. Again, he is the director and the star of this, so
Cool.
okay.
I mean, that is a shame that he doesn't get more work, but not to sound like that kind of a hipster, I am a little glad that he's not super overexposed.
Agreed. Like I want those kinds of actors to get more representation, but at the same time, I don't want it to be a Glenn Powell. He's in fucking everything, and it's kind of
Yeah,
slop.
a little bit.
Because I completely forgot he's the kid from Slumdog Millionaire. Uh,
Yeah.
he did
He
Lion, which is
also
supposed to be very good.
unfortunately shows up in a really crappy robot movie called Chappie.
Was he?
Maybe
If
one
I
of the worst
am I
things I've ever watched, legitimately.
hold on, I'm gonna look back in his because I feel like was he in? He was the shitty version of the Last Airbender. He was Prince Zuko. I
Oh,
completely
geez.
forgot that
The
he was
movie
in this.
version by M. Night Shyamalan.
Yes.
I mean, granted, I was never huge on that show, but I hear even like the high quality Netflix one isn't one that people like.
No. Well, it's some things you can adapt, and some things I'm like, I just wouldn't like. It would be like trying to do live action Naruto. I'm like, they just wouldn't. It wouldn't do
There are some
well.
things that just work in animation that simply don't translate well. You're very true.
Well, even I haven't watched any of it, and I was never really a fan of it either way. But I saw like just the Netflix little preview for the new season of One Piece, the live action. I was like, this doesn't look good.
I the the visual style of both the manga and the anime for One Piece is like so viscerally off-putting to me. I've never consumed any of it, so I probably won't watch that either.
Either anyway, sorry, side or rant and ramble aside, I also felt not a kindred, but like you know how towards the end of La La Land where they show like the what could have been their future lives if
I
they
was about to
chose
ask you
different
about that.
options.
Yeah.
And then he's like, "Oh, let me literally just zone out and think of all these options. Oh, really? Oh, shit! I should probably maybe not do this with the sash on because really my life's just gonna be kind of shit forever."
I really love the idea that the main character is actually shown to be a shitty person. Like
Yes.
he's not a knight, he's not actually that honorable. Like
Mm-hmm.
it shows him getting everything he ever wants and all of it goes horribly wrong. He abandons his
His
the
actual love.
mother
Yes.
of
His
his
child. Yes.
son, and like the people revolt against him, and yeah, it
Mm-hmm.
just I kind of love that they went that direction. It wasn't, oh, now that I've done this thing or I've claimed to have done this thing, which is probably what he would have done. But
Yes.
yeah, I thought that was a really interesting choice.
The real question, though, and this is kind of like the Inception question.
Which did he choose?
I think so. When you think backwards, the knight was sent really from his mom,
Yes, which is a weird.
encouraging him. Well, yes, but
Why the fuck would you do this?
just hold on. I don't think the knight was like even if he the knight showed him his neck, encouraging him to chop his head off. Really, all of this was just to force him through personal growth. He the knight was never actually going to chop his head off in return. He was just waiting for him to actually make the right choices to be the man that his mom knew he could be. Of being like, oh, I have like accepted my fate. I'm gonna do the right thing. I'm gonna have honor as a knight. That's why he took the sash off, and that's why the Green Knight was like, you know what? Never mind. Let's just have you be okay. So I don't think he actually chopped his head off.
He ends the movie by saying, "Off with your head."
No, remember he stops. He doesn't actually do it though. They don't show it ever. That's why I think it's up to interpretation.
I distinctly remember that happening, but maybe I'm misremembering it. I think that you're right that the knight was summoned by his mother, but I think she was summoned, or sorry, he was summoned by his mother with her assuming that Gawain would pick up on the idea of, hey, maybe I don't give this person a murder debt. So the whole thing about, oh, hey, take this extra precaution with you and you'll never fall in battle, was her trying to safeguard about the fact that her son is a dumbass.
Maybe,
And
maybe.
I think that like she summoned him but like couldn't control him, kind of in like a like a golem kind of way, I
Yeah,
guess.
yeah, yeah. Okay.
So I don't know. I think the movie works either way.
Oh yes, absolutely.
I personally, though, I think he does get his head chopped off at the end. Because if he doesn't, then we get the if he doesn't get his head chopped off and he goes back to King Arthur's court, we then get the eventuality, we then get the reality of him ascending to the throne and, you know, all the other horrible things that happen. So I think because we were shown that reality and then
The reason why we wouldn't get the reality is he took the belt off, showing he's like, I'm giving in to mortality. I'm okay getting hurt. That's why I think it does. Like he's going to go back, but he's changing his future.
well, right, like he took the belt off, which means he is mortal, which means he would have gotten his head cut off.
I think he's giving up the like the. I think it's again. I think it's the courage, pride, honor, knight idea of like, oh, I don't want to
It's
die.
possible. I think this is a great aspect of the movie, and what I mentioned at the top of the episode is that it doesn't explain
Well,
nearly
it's
anything.
it's an actual again, I think I wrote this the first time I reviewed this on Letterboxd, but I was like, "Oh, this literally feels like a Knight's Tale that I'm being told like around a fire." And
Where
some
you
of it,
don't
yeah,
have all the information and you're filling in the gaps with other
correct.
stuff.
And it
Yes,
might all be true, it may not all be true, you don't know.
absolutely. I you know, part of the reason why I love the near dialogue-less part of this movie is that you are left to fill in some of the motivations and some of the plot yourself. I think that's really cool when it's done well. When it's not done well, then it's annoying.
And we'll talk about this in our next segment about what we watched this week, but uh it's also the right, I think, balance of when there is dialogue, it's not so trying to be of the time that you can't understand anything.
Oh, you watched Hamnet, did you?
I did. I have. We'll talk about it, but just
I like myself some iambic pentameter. I have heard
yes,
that you really have to like Shakespearean English sometimes.
we'll talk about it. But
Yeah,
yes, I think this does really well. We're like, oh, it still feels of the right era, but it's not so much the like, oh, I can't fucking follow this.
sure. Well, would you recommend this to people?
I think I would recommend this to a younger crowd.
I don't know if I would recommend it to like a younger crowd. Like
No,
I,
no,
I
no.
think they need to be in their late to middle 20s, early 30s like us because I
Yes,
think if you're any younger, you would be bored.
yes. I think if you're too young, you're going to be bored. If you're too old, you're gonna find too much of it, especially certain scenes, very off-putting, and will probably turn you off for the rest of the movie.
Yeah,
Which I think that's what happened with our parents.
probably so.
Uh, does it bucket or like clearly merchandise beyond just
I mean, I think they actually sold little axes. I'm almost positive they
okay,
did.
sick? I would have bought one.
Me too, but I think they were. I mean, knowing A24,
Overly priced,
well, I mean, not just that, everything's a limited run for them.
which I think is the
So
right idea.
it is because of the kind of studio they are. If this was produced by like Legendary Pictures, which Guillermo del Toro jointly owns, then I don't know if you have that kind of an excuse to not make it a larger distribution.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like you can probably, I don't know, there's got to be a way to popcorn bucket this.
I don't know if I'd really want to make it into a popcorn bucket, but just as a costume piece, the uh the crown with like the halo behind it, super
That's
fucking sick looking.
that's
So
both
cool.
super sick, but also we have found like oxidized copper remains on skeletons like that. Like people used to do that. That was so cool that they put that in the movie.
Hmm. Did you ever watch the Taron Egerton Robin Hood? Because that's a
Oh,
horseshit movie.
that is
Oh
a
my
dookie
god,
ass movie. Yes.
it's so bad.
Yeah, it was not good.
Did you also recognize King Arthur?
Oh yeah, Jared Harris. He shows up in lots of things. Probably recognize him from the Mission Impossibles.
Mm-hmm. As the bad guy, yes.
Yeah.
Which, uh, yeah, what a turn to be kind of a soft-spoken King Arthur on his deathbed.
Well, I kind of like this version of King Arthur. In all the other adaptations, he's this huge, larger than life figure. He's almost this mythic superhuman. I like that
Clive
he's just.
Owen, yes.
I like that he's just kind of an ordinary king here. I mean, he still
Mm-hmm.
has power, obviously, and he still has lots of presence, but he's not like I don't know. He's not Captain America for the Middle Ages.
Correct. Well, I think that's 40-ish minutes. I think is a great amount for the Green Knight. And as we said
Yes.
at some point throughout this, it is available on Netflix. It is available on Tubi. One might have ads, one might not have ads. Who knows? I think it's like spot on 2 hours. So I
Yep.
think that's a good amount for a Knight's Tale if you're looking for something like that.
If you
From
like,
here, sorry.
I was just gonna say, if you want an artsy version of King Arthur, this might be for you.
Mm-hmm. from there, folks, we're going to transition into what we've watched, what we are looking forward to watching, if there's any trailers that may have come out, stuff like that. So, Hayden, is there anything we watched this week that you want to talk about?
Well, there's a couple big trailers that came out this week,
Well,
but
hold on. Before we do trailers,
I
let's
know, I
do,
know, I know. So
because that's
movies
going
I
to be a whole
watched.
fucking thing.
I know. So, I don't know if it's going to come through in the recording. Hopefully, it's not too bad. I have not been feeling very well. I've had flash cold, if you will. So I haven't actually been looking at too many screens recently to try and keep my headache down. That being said, I rewatched Zootopia 2 because it's now available on streaming off Disney Plus. Still a banger movie. And I rewatched a remake of, I guess it's not a remake. It's a new adaptation of the Stephen King novel Pet Cemetery. It's the modern version of it. It's okay. I think it does some things well. I think it does some things not so good at all. But I enjoyed it. Got it from the library. So,
Okay.
Duncan, what have you watched?
Well, because I don't really know what the last thing I referenced last week was.
Well, I will tell you.
Did I talk about Mr. and Mrs. Smith?
No, you did not.
Okay, I rewatched Mr. and Mrs. Smith because
fantastic movie.
it's so much fun. It is Doug Liman, who you might know from, all kinds of stuff. But this is like the main thing where Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie met. He cheated on Jennifer Aniston, married Angelina Jolie. It's a whole thing. But the movie is a lot of fun, and it's it's not trying to be anything that it's not, which I think so many movies, that's usually where their fault lies. From there, I watched Before the Devil Knows You're Dead. This is directed by Sidney Lumet, who you might recognize.
That's kind of an older movie. I know the title.
Well, it's from 2007, but the director, he directed 12 Angry Men, Serpico, Dog Day Afternoon,
Sure.
Murder on the Orient Express, The Vert. This is a well-known director, and this is, probably 20 or 30 years after his other stuff. It stars Ethan Hawke. It stars Philip Seymour Hoffman, Marissa Tomei in a minor role. It's kind of Uncut Gems before Uncut Gems. Brothers try to rob their own parents' jewelry store, and everything goes wrong that could go wrong, and not in a funny way. It's just a very stressful way. This doesn't spoil anything. The first minute is an insane way to start a movie. So just cold open, Philip Seymour Hoffman, Marissa Tomei, full nudity, doggy style, having sex. Just opens with that.
Marissa Tomei, I can think of worse things to see.
Well, yes, she's stunning, but just whoa. I can't imagine going to a theater and being like, oh, this is the first thing that's on the screen is crazy. Some of these next few have been on my Letterboxd watch list for literally years, and I just couldn't find them anywhere. So Surf's Up, could not find it anywhere forever, and then randomly Tubi's like, hey, we got this for you. So I watched that, and it's actually a lot more fun than I remember. They do the whole kind of mockumentary interview process. Jeff Bridges and Shia LaBeouf are a lot of fun in it. And then, you use Tubi, Hayden, you know this, but underneath while you're watching it, be like, hey, if you watch this, you should check this out. And Hoodwinked, which has been on my watch list for, it's one of the first things on my watch list, like the oldest.
I think that might be one of the first things I ever watched.
And for a long time, it was literally scrubbed from the internet. You couldn't even buy it anywhere. I was looking on Amazon just to purchase it, and it wasn't available. So either way, both the first one, I haven't watched the second one, Hoodwinked, Hood versus Evil, but they're both on Tubi. So it's kind of a Shrek-esque, where it's taking fairy tale characters and putting a spin on it. But the difference is the animation is
so cheap.
Well, I'm sure it's cheap
for the era.
Yes, but there's spots where I'm like, oh, the wolf looks okay, and then Red Riding Hood, who is and also the cast is crazy, like Anne Hathaway.
Anne Hathaway.
Glenn Close, Patrick Warburton, Jim Belushi, Chaz Palminteri, Andy Dick. Like, it's just sometimes I'm like, oh, whoa, it went to like there's 4 pixels and it's her whole eyeball. It's just it's dumb. It's like 80 minutes. Uh, and then going from that to Hamnet was pretty much as far the other direction as I
It's a
possibly could
little
have
bit of
gone.
whiplash.
So we might talk about this episode. We might do a whole separate thing because we're already at almost an hour at this point. But the Oscars just happened. The lead actress award, which Jessie Buckley won. She also won in pretty much every other. Like, she swept like 7 different award
Yeah.
shows for this. And I was like, it's available on Peacock. I don't know if I like. Maybe I should watch this. So I watched it. It is just over 2 hours. It is directed by Chloe Zhao, who you might recognize from Nomadland, which won Best Picture, and Frances McDormand won Best Actress for it. And then she went on to do Eternals, which was like, she went from this kind
Which
of
was
indie
not
director
good.
to this big. Well, I think it was just
I don't know
so
if that's
much.
her fault.
That's the thing. I look at them like, I think it just is so much not what the rest of the MCU is, and that's why. And it was also came out in 2021, so right in the
Yeah.
middle of the pandemic. And yeah, it didn't do so she went back to something a little more artsy fartsy, aka Hamnet. I get it. I get a lot of why it was nominated for the things it was nominated. It looks nice. The costuming is really nice. I think Paul Mescal actually should have gotten a little bit more of a nod than he did. And again, I
Didn't he get a
totally
nomination?
no.
I thought he did.
Only what's her name did.
Jessie Buckley.
Yes.
Yeah.
And again, I get why she got it, but I rate movies. It's not a uniform rating, but it's either like, okay, is the movie good, and or did I enjoy or have fun watching said movie? And like, I didn't have a good time watching it, but
I have heard it is a rough, heavy movie.
Yeah, I mean, it's them getting
Dealing with grief
together.
in different ways.
Yes, yes, exactly. So I didn't like enjoy having like I didn't have a good time watching it, but I see like, it's like I get that it's a good movie, but it's also so far the other direction with the Shakespeare where I'm like, I needed like subtitles on, and I was still like, dude, this is a fucking lot. I don't know, man. Like, I think that's why it is when you look at there's a reason why something like Sinners or One Battle After Another won Best Picture and this was not even in the running, because the understanding that you need for this to really actually hit home for you is such a small focus group of the population that's even going to go see any movie at all, much less alone, a Shakespearean tragedy about his son getting the plague and dying.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad I saw it. I gave it like a 3.5 out of 5, which again, it's not a bad movie. I would not ever say that, but just it. I
Wasn't for
also
you.
think it wasn't for me, but also don't think it was intended for me either.
That's very true.
So that's it. And I've also been it is technically loggable on Letterboxd, so I will count it as a log once I'm done with it. But the limited series 11 2063, the
with
James Franco stops the JFK assassination time travel thing.
I've heard it's good.
It's good. I think if you saw it when it came out, I think it would have made a bigger difference, because now that there's that certain stigma behind James Franco.
Well, yeah.
Either way, I think it's an interesting concept. I've only seen 3 episodes. The episodes are like 50 minutes each. It also actually surprised. I didn't know he was in this, but it now is like a co-star with James Franco. Is the guy from the true
the older guy?
No. Well, no, I recognize him, but no, the young guy from the True History of the Kelly Gang episode,
Sure.
5 that we did. I can't think of his name.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a bigger actor now. I think he might even be directing now. But either way, yeah, it's been interesting. We'll kind of have to see what they do with it. But that's what I've watched. Should we now talk trailers, because it has been a week for trailers.
So let's dive in. Where do you want to start? Do you want to start in space or do you want to start in New York?
Let's do New York.
So I'm gonna get this out of the way. I fucking love Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care what the Spider-Man project is. I'm gonna be sat in theaters. Sue me. I'm never growing out of that phase as a kid. Spider-Man rules. So
I like Spider-Man. I think I think some of the newer stuff has kind of lost me a little bit.
I would agree. I think lots of the Tom Holland stuff, no fault of his, has not felt correct to me.
Well, they
And
did a different
looking
thing with
at
Spider-Man, and this sounds like it might be the closest thing to what you are kind of hoping slash expecting
oh,
for a Spider-Man movie.
absolutely. I mean, he's finally on his own. He's finally broke his shit. He's having a horrible life. He's living in a dingy apartment.
Yes.
They finally have a no nanotech anything on his suit.
Yes.
My biggest complaint with the other two is that he's constantly trying to be Iron Man, and I love that he's finally not doing that anymore.
And yes, this movie sounds like it's going to have Hulk and it's going to have Punisher, but it doesn't. Again, it feels of the movies so far, it feels the most that like, oh, this is a street level, actual
Yes.
like Spider-Man movie, not a
Well, and
like,
then that
oh,
was
it's
the other
a.
thing, is that in every one of his other movies outside of Homecoming, which Homecoming has its own issues, but like
I've never been a big fan of it either.
I look, Homecoming at least has him fighting, that
Sure.
version of the Vulture.
Yes.
It has a myriad of other issues. But like all the other ones, he's in space and he's fighting
Yes.
Thanos and he's doing
Yes.
all like I love Spider-Man. Spider-Man is not an intergalactic hero.
Even inter country, like the second one where he went to on like the school trip or whatever, and he's with Mysterio. I'm like, oh, they should have just done this in New York somehow, because
Yes,
that's
they
where
should
he's
have.
really meant to be.
So I am super stoked. I think the trailer is smart in that it shows you a little bit about a lot of stuff, but it doesn't show you very much to where you can fully plan out the movie. I like that there's a lot of nods where they just directly recreate um
Yes, a lot of the covers. Yeah.
yeah, super gorgeous stuff. And I am really pumped for the combat scenes because it's being directed by the same people who did Shang-Chi. And
Hmm.
Shang-Chi also has its issues, but I thought the hand-to-hand combat stuff looked incredible, so I'm excited for that here.
Well, what I want is for this to be the only trailer. But that's the problem these days is
Yeah.
you're going to see probably at least two more trailers
Oh,
is my
absolutely. I
guess.
mean, even for the other movie that we're going to talk about here in a minute,
Mhm.
that's so far away for when it's coming out. They're going to release like two or three more, and
Mm, but
they
that's so
probably will, or they're just going to recut this one a number of times.
what well and we'll talk about it in a second, but at least the one that's coming later in the year, that movie's most likely going to be 2.5 3 hours long,
It's
so you've
probably
got
going
a
to
lot more
encroach on three.
content.
Yeah,
Well, just Spider-Man, I'm going to guess, is going to be 2 hours,
probably.
so it's going to be hard to cut more trailers without giving away too much of the movie, I think.
It's possible. Well, do you want to talk about the other one?
Sure. So right after he lost the Oscar, literally the next day, which some people have been saying like, oh, he asked Denis Villeneuve to drop the trailers so people would be like, oh, he's still he's not down and out. But I'm like, I feel
I
like
don't know.
I think that's bullshit, because I'm like, the amount of
I was gonna say,
planning and everything that goes into when they drop things and who's posting what poster, like all that stuff can't be the spur of the moment. Like, hey, uh, I just in an hour ago I just lost this award. Can you post all this shit so I feel better about myself? I don't think that's
yeah,
real.
probably not happening.
Either way, so Dune 3 or Dune Chapter 3, I think, or Part 3.
I could have sworn it was named Dune Messiah for a long time.
I think that's probably true, but no, not enough of the mainstream people are going to know that that's what the actual book is. So
Oh
I,
no, I mean like that was the working title of the movie for a long time. So I think it's probably a studio change to, as you say, make it easier for larger audience to know what the fuck's going on.
which I'm okay with. To be like, yes, if you wanted to be a purist, it would be yes, this is Messiah, but I'm fine with that.
Oh yeah.
Some trivia. I don't know if you know this. So you know the shot where it shows him with all the scarring around his eyes that he posted.
Yeah, that's just what losing the Oscar does to you.
Well, so in the book, I don't know if you know this, but in the book, he literally
I've only ever read the first one.
okay. So in the book, he literally loses both of his eyes. So he doesn't have eyes. Like there's his eye sockets are fucking empty. And part of the whole like holy shit that he's a god is he doesn't like he knows where everything is without his eyes. So
Hmm.
I don't know if they're really going to do that, but that's what some people are speculating. Like, oh, the scarring is from, he might be losing his eyes in this somehow.
Well, I also know that they're getting into the weird cloning stuff with this one because Duncan
Jason
Idaho
Momoa.
is back.
Well, he's not.
And
He's not Duncan Idaho. Yes,
exactly.
I'm honestly fucking pumped. I think it's gonna be great.
The cinematography is already incredible.
Yes, no, I'm so psyched. I think so. There's so many times where like, man, movies are fucking dying. There's nothing coming out. It's all shitty. And then I look, I'm like, well, there are a few things. Like, okay, Dune is gonna be good. I think Spider-Man's gonna be fun. I think Odyssey is gonna be like an event.
I think the fact that we are getting both Dune 3 and the Odyssey Part 1, which I'm assuming is what Nolan's going to do, like
I
we're
don't know.
getting two of the biggest like cultural event movies in recent memory in the same year. Like that's crazy.
Well, and Spielberg's releasing a movie. Like all,
Oh,
like there's
Disclosure
several.
Day too. Yeah,
Yes, there's.
it's going to be a good year.
Mhm. And I know I'm like most of me are like I just want the Batman Part 2. That's all I fucking want, guys. God damn it! But there's plenty of other good shit coming out. So
There is other good shit coming out. I wish that would also be one of them.
I have heard that Project Hail Mary is getting very solid reviews.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And we will be reviewing that. I don't think it's next week, but we will be doing it.
Yes. So we'll talk about that in a second. But yes, we will be talking about it at some point. I think those are the two main trailers. So Spider-Man: A Brand New Day and Dune Chapter Part 3, whatever you want to call it.
I remember being like really worried that because news broke several months ago that Greg Fraser was not going to be the DP anymore, and I'm like, so much of what makes the other Dune movies so incredible is the
Yes.
way they look. And I'm like, if you replace him, is it still going to be good? I think there's shots in here which look better than the first two. Like the bit where you have um Anya Taylor-Joy in that flowy white dress standing on top of the stage, it's blowing up in the wind, and then you pull back and it's got the
Yes.
army in front of her.
Yes.
Goosebumps. That's incredible.
And I've seen a couple Instagram reels about this, but are they separate or are they in the same where is Dune now the goated trilogy or is it still Lord of the Rings?
I
'Cause I'm like,
have seen
I
that
think they're
too.
separate. I think I would not compare them.
I think that I think if they manage to stick the landing with this correctly, then this enters into the same category though of being a
Oh yes, absolutely.
perfect trilogy that
Hmm.
defines the era that it comes out in.
Well, I think it defines not just the era but the genre. Because yes, the
Absolutely.
uh, I've seen something where like, oh, grandparents had Star Wars. Uh,
Indiana Jones.
Well, I'm thinking sci-fi specific. There was one where it was Star Wars for one generation, then it was maybe it wasn't genre specific because there was like Star Wars, Lord of the Rings, Dune, and I was like,
Yeah.
oh, it's our turn is Dune, which
Yeah.
I'm fucking fine with.
I mean, I would believe it.
That was episode 86. That was uh the Green Knight with Dev Patel. If you guys again have interests in watching that, Netflix or Tubi. Next week, I believe we will be watching Bullet Train, the very fun Brad Pitt.
Guy Ritchie-esque crime comedy.
Well, it's not Guy. It's the Fall Guy director, which
I
is
know.
David Leitch.
Yep.
So Deadpool 3, Fall Guy, Atomic Blonde.
Yeah. I mean, he's a very solid action director.
Yeah, well, he and used to be stunt coordinator, which is pretty cool. Either way, that's what we're talking about, folks. Next week, go watch Project Hail Mary as it's coming out this week. We'll probably watch it most likely next week and talk about it the following week. And we'll catch you all in the next one.